Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them. On the 20th of November 2003, James Ignatius O'Rourke McMahon was elected councillor for the Failsworth East Ward of Oldham. Deeply ambitious, he ruthlessly rose to power, and by 2011 he was already leader of the council. In 2015, exploiting a Labour Party loophole, he became MP for Oldham West and Royton. If only the people of the town knew then what they now know. Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them.
Very good evening, 26th of March 2026. My name is Raja Miah. This is a Recusant 9 transmission on a Thursday night. It's rare for me to be with you on a Thursday night, so it feels kind of strange, if I'm honest with you, but here we are. I promised I'd do something on Oldham, so this is me just playing catch up before I wrap things up for the live transmissions up for Easter. So this will be the last of the live broadcasts until after Easter. The transmission last night got pulled. You should have watched it live. If you didn't watch it live, it got pulled. It wasn't me. It was some form of copyright claim, I would imagine, by GB News. You saw what I did, so I'll leave it to you to decide what went on there. I've got snippets of it, and I'll probably try and put snippets of it up on X and Facebook at some point. But well, if you were with me yesterday evening, you saw me do what I do, and I think there was no doubt left as to what had taken place. It's essentially containment. This is what's taking place. Please do like, please do share the content. Please, if you can, subscribe to my work. 100% free, no paywalls, none of that stuff. I just put it out there. Have my fingers crossed that enough of you will think he's worth a coffee. He's worth £3 a month or £30 for the year, the equivalent of something like 75 pence a week. So I leave that entirely up to you. And we've got this far, and I'd like to believe we will get to where we need to be. Now, let's bring up what I want to bring up first and foremost. Two in hospital after building collapses in Oldham. So if you know Oldham at all, this is King Street. As a child, I used to walk along King Street to the Co-op, which was on the right, immediately opposite, I think, more or less, this building was the Co-op. And further along now is the sixth form college. So every day, hundreds of children, young people, walk past this building and along this street. And the building next to it has been demolished for some time now. So for those of us who are familiar with Oldham, we'd always look at this building and wonder what on earth is going on there. It's a death trap. It's only a matter of time before something happens with that building. So this wasn't unknown to the people of Oldham. Not in the slightest. And this is what the BBC reported at the time. And I want to start with the BBC because it made national news. So the BBC. 2 people have been taken to hospital after a building surrounded by scaffolding collapsed on a street in Greater Manchester. Emergency services were called to the terrace building on King Street in Oldham about 12:40, so that's lunchtime, on Tuesday after its front partially collapsed. If that's a partial collapse, okay. 5 people were inside and managed to escape, Greater Manchester Fire and Rescue Service said. People have been warned to stay away from the area where roads have been shut, and engineers from Cadent fix a gas mains that was damaged by the collapse of the building. Yep. So as engineers from Cadent fix a gas main that was damaged by the collapse of the building. So it could have been much worse, couldn't it? Northwest Ambulance Service confirmed the injuries of the two people taken to hospital were not thought to be serious. And it's only by a miracle, I think you can see, it's only by a miracle that people were not killed. The building is owned by Oldham councillor Cameron Gaffer, who has declined to comment on the incident. So this is at the time the BBC released their article. Local businessman Kwok Wong, who owns Reaming Chippy in Royston. Lovely chip shop, by the way. Probably one of the best chip shops in Oldham. If you're ever passing, just further along from the hospital, I used to go and plant my daughter on the side there, and we'd order fish and chips on a Friday, and the queues would be outside. So lovely chip shop if you ever passing. Another story for another day. Kwok told the BBC he had arrived in the town centre to find the building collapsed. All the emergencies were there already when I arrived, he said. But the building was a mess. Air ambulances landed on top of Mecca Bingo roof. So that's opposite. It used to be the old co-op. Three ambulances and one air ambulance were deployed to the area along with a hazardous area response team. So it's cost a fortune, hasn't it, as a consequence. The ambulance service said a medical team that included doctors and paramedics were also sent. So that's the building next to it. That's the building that went down. That's the building that went down. You can see next to it was a building that had been demolished a couple of years earlier. So it wasn't safe. Hadn't been safe for a long time. A fire service spokesman said at around 12:40 GMT this afternoon, 3 fire engines from across Greater Manchester were called to an incident involving a collapsed building on King Street, Oldham. Used to be what is that now? Some chicken shop. Of course it's a chicken shop. It used to be the Star Inn, didn't it? It's a chicken shop now. Engineers from Cadent Gas were on site at King Street, where a large cordon was in place amid road closures and a build-up of emergency vehicles. Chris Campbell, operations manager at the firm, said on Tuesday, "Our engineers are currently on site securing a damaged gas main caused by the collapse of a nearby building earlier today. We are working closely with the emergency services and are awaiting confirmation that the site is safe for our teams to access the gas pipe and isolate the supply to the affected property." I genuinely don't think so, Jenny. I'll be clear straight away. I genuinely don't think so. Pete, it's only by a miracle. It's only by a miracle that people did not die. The Oldham Times. Then managed to get the councillor to get a statement. So they got a statement of Cammy G. Of course, Cammy G's lawyers in the past have wrote to me threatening to sue me, haven't you? Cameron Gaffer. Cameron Gaffer leads an organisation, a coalition of the pro-Gaza sort of MPs that you have. Well, we have our branch in Oldham. It's called the Oldham Group. The Pakistani sectarians, I call them. And they stand on the Gaza sort of stuff, the you know it. Yep. All of that stuff is what these people are. I have no time for them whatsoever. And if any of you vote for them, more fool you. More fool you if you vote for this sectarian lot. An Oldham councillor connected to the King Street building that collapsed yesterday has issued a statement describing the incident as deeply concerning and, wait for it, unfortunate. Unfortunate. Councillor Cameron Gaffer, leader of the sectarian Oldham group, and representative for the Hollywood ward, has confirmed that 31 King Street is owned by a company of which he is a director. He's a HMO millionaire, essentially, is Cammy G. In a statement, he said yesterday, an incident occurred involving a partial collapse of the building. First and foremost, I am extremely relieved that no one was seriously injured. You should be extremely relieved that no one was killed. My thoughts and prayers are with those affected, and I wish them a full and swift recovery. The cause of the collapse is currently under investigation. We are fully cooperating with all relevant authorities and will support a thorough and transparent investigation to understand exactly what has happened. I think he's took legal advice, don't you, in issuing that statement? Councillor Gaffar has also given some context regarding the work that was being done to the building at the time of the collapse. He added, at the time of the incident, preliminary works were being carried out. Preliminary works were being carried out to address structural concerns. So they knew about the structural concerns. They had structural concerns already relating to the side wall and the corner of the property. Preliminary works. Structural concerns. His own words, not mine. As many will be aware, the neighbouring building had been demolished some years ago, leaving this wall exposed to the elements, and repair works were underway to ensure the building's safety and integrity. So why were the repair works underway, 4 years afterwards? I don't know. These works were being managed professionally. A qualified structural engineer had been instructed. The appropriate building regulations notice had been submitted. You see the word submitted rather than approved. I don't know what the process is, but he's saying it was submitted. And the project was being overseen in consultation with building control. I would imagine building control is the council. In addition, scaffolding had been erected by a professional contractor, and experienced contractors were engaged to carry out the works. This is a deeply concerning and unfortunate incident. At this stage, it is important that the investigation is allowed to take its course. Why? Why is it important? It's important for us to raise concerns and to confirm that an investigation of the caliber and transparency and independence is taking place, because in Oldham we know all too well that investigations do not take place. But Cameron Gaffar wants to say at this stage it is important that the investigation is allowed to take its course. So that means shut up, don't say anything. And he himself will refrain from further detailed comment until more information is available. Look at that. It is a miracle that someone was not killed. Denise is right, it's a busy bus stop immediately in front of it. Cameron Gaffar, and I can't bring this article up, it doesn't let me. I think the Chronicle haven't paid their bills or something. Is, of course, I think as good as, I think it's fair to say you're a convicted rogue landlord, aren't you? As far back as in 2012, he was described as a rogue landlord. And as recently as last year, in the council chamber, I think it was Elaine Taylor, one of the other councillors, the Labour Party councillor, stood up and made reference to him as a slum landlord. The council had apparently, and I think it was on King Street as well, they had to rehouse or do something with some of his tenants or some of the tenants there. He blamed it on the council. The Labour Party councillors made reference to him as a slum landlord. Councillor Ghaffar, his brother, I think it's his brother, it's his nephew, immediate family member, I'm pretty sure, was on Greater Manchester Police's most wanted list of dangerous criminals. Class A drugs, I think, is what they were looking for him for a number of years ago. Not one of the opposition councillors have issued a statement in Oldham on this. And I think I'll leave it to you to decide as to why opposition councillors from the Lib Dems, the Conservatives, any of the independents, Reform even, why none of them have issued a statement on this. I think I know exactly why. Ordinarily, what should happen is that an immediate investigation should take place, and the council and the police should have issued a statement by now, saying it's meant to be mandatory, a mandatory referral, and an investigation is meant to take place. It's my town. Concerned friends of mine contacted me. Raja, will you do something? I did this. I sent an email to the Chief Executive of Oldham Council. That's her name, Shelley Kipling. I copied in the Borough Solicitor, Alexander Bogatov, and also CC'd were all the leaders of the various political factions. The council leader, Arud Shah, the Lib Dem leader, Howard Sykes, the Conservative leader, Max Woodvine, the Reform leader, Councillor Lewis Quigg, and of course the Oldham Group leader, Councillor Cameron Ghaffar. Dear Chief Executive, I am writing to request urgent clarification regarding the collapse of the building at 31 King Street, Oldham. Given the seriousness of this incident, a structural collapse in the centre of the town in which several people were injured, it is essential that the public has confidence that all appropriate regulatory procedures are being followed and that there is full transparency regarding the council's role. I would therefore be grateful if you could clarify the following points. I'm always polite when I write my letters. 1. Prior knowledge. Did Oldham Council have any prior knowledge or records indicating that the building at 31 King Street was structurally unsafe or at risk of becoming a dangerous structure? It's a yes or a no, isn't it? Straightforward. 2. Inspection or enforcement action. Were any inspections carried out by council officers, including building control? Cameron Ghaffar makes reference to building control, remember, in his statement. Were any inspections carried out by council officers, including building control or environmental health, in relation to this property prior to the collapse? If so, were any improvement notices, dangerous structures notices, or other enforcement actions issued? Building control notifications. Councillor Cameron Ghaffar has stated publicly that the appropriate building regulations notice had been submitted and that works were being undertaken in consultation with building control. Can the council confirm when this notice was received? and whether any site inspections were carried out before the incident. Conflict of interest procedures. Given that the property owner is a serving councillor, what procedures were followed to ensure that any regulatory oversight or enforcement decisions were handled independently and without conflict of interest? Fair? This is the biggie. Reporting to the Health and Safety Executive. Has the council formally reported the incident to the Health and Safety Executive under the relevant reporting requirements for serious construction incidents? The building owner's meant to do it as well, from what I gather, but, you know, we've got to ask the council if they've done it. If so, on what date was the report made? It should have been made yesterday or the day before even. Well, yesterday, should have been done immediately. A building collapse in a busy town centre is an extremely serious event. While it is fortunate that no lives were lost, the public deserves clear answers about what the council knew and what actions were taken before the incident occurred. The public deserve clear answers about what the council knew and what actions were taken before the incident occurred. For transparency, I have published this email on my social media accounts. Well, I will do. I would appreciate your urgent response. Yours sincerely, Raja Miah MBE. I will share a version of this letter. I'll email it out tomorrow morning via Redwall and the Rabble, and you can copy and paste it. And I would ask that you send it yourselves to all the people who I've sent it to. And the reason why is a very senior source in Oldham Council contacted me about 5:30, 6 o'clock today. Right, have you sent an email? They've blocked your email. They've blocked your email. They don't want people to see it. Why would the council not want to put the record straight? Shelley Kipling is the chief executive. Why would her council not want to simply reassure people this is what the council knew, and we can confirm that the Health and Safety Executive have been called in? So, this is my second ask of you. You can go on to hse.gov.uk and you can report something. You can report it. And you should report it. It'll take you all of 10 minutes. England. Put your name in. 10 minutes, it'll take you. And you should report it. Because I'll tell you what my opinion is on what is going on. When a building collapses like that, it isn't an act of God. It is through a failure on at least one person somewhere, if not multiple people. I'm not going on about specifically that building, but a building of that kind. If it collapses that way, the owner, the structural engineer, the supply chain is brought in. And at the other end, building control and the council, who have statutory obligations around the safety of the citizens of the town. You don't have to be local at all. You do not have to be local at all. So, I will share that email tomorrow. Tweak it if you want. Send it to Shelley Kipling. I want to see how many of you she blocks. How many of you the borough solicitor blocks. And as well as the other councillors, the leaders of the other groups not asking questions. And it was the same with the rape gangs. Consistently, they ran away from asking questions. They were too scared. My own thoughts is that this should be investigated independently, confirmed by the HSE, and if I was a betting man, I would wager that severe failings will be identified and individuals, I suspect, will end up in prison. Of course, Councillor Cameron Gaffer is a HMO millionaire. Last time I saw him, I think he was driving past me in a £250,000 car. Convertible, roof off. He's a HMO millionaire, drives around in a £250,000 car, I think probably more, in one of the poorest, representing one of the poorest wards in the entire country, where people can't afford to heat their homes. For those of you new to me, my name is Raja Miah. I've been at this for nearly 8 years now. We have got this far because we use the very systems and processes that exist against them. It's why the council have blocked me. They can stick their head in the sand. They can stick their arse up in the air as high as they want. We're not going anywhere. We are going to hold them to account, and this council will be forced to answer for its actions. And Councillor Cameron Gaffer, irrespective of his millions and who he knows, I'm not scared of you, Gaffer. I'm not scared of any one of you Pakistanis. HMO millionaires, chicken shop kings. Get stuffed, a lot of you. Shameless. What are you trying to do? Outdo Irish Shimmy? Oh, he's got a Bentley, I'll get something else. This is not what civic leadership should be about. It was never what civic leadership was meant to be about. Councillors are not meant to be involved in these activities. The newspapers, of course, have not asked a simple question as to the investigation. That's the Oldham Times, funded by the council. itself neck deep in the cover-up of the gang rape of children. The Manchester Evening News. Well, what do you expect? I don't know if he owned the building next door that collapsed a few years earlier. He's a wealthy man. He owns many buildings. Whilst I've got so many of you here, I will urge you to sign up to Redwall and the Rabble, please. Share my work, support my work. redwallandtherabble.co.uk. Buy me a coffee if you can. Just sign up for free if you can. But please, whatever you do, share the work. More and more people need to know what's going on, because this isn't just Oldham. This is the same in towns and cities across the country where the Pakistani bloc vote, the Muslim bloc vote, has infiltrated our democratic systems. And these are the sorts of elected officials, leaders, that we end up with as a consequence. Thank you so much, Sheila. That's my one super chat for the evening. Thank you. And sorry, Darcy, I did not get your super chat. I got your email. I did respond to it. So I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe you need to get in touch with your bank, I think. I think they want to take control of the town and rebuild it in an image that is not what the vast majority of us hope the town to be. Chicken shops, HMOs, vape shops. What is wrong with our country? A very good evening.
Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them. Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them.